Hey guys, what's up? This is Teddy Macedo, aka bearRimshot's speaking. Sorry for the long wait. In case if you're wondering what happened, let's just say can be guilty of procrastinating. Now that I'm up for it, looks like today shall be the perfect day where I get to share my thoughts on MAGFest 2020. As for what's going to happen, my public apology to getting time to script for that will happen next. But remember what I said before, and you all get the idea. But anyways, without further ado, let's get on with my thoughts on MAGFest 2020. Oh boy, where do I begin? Okay. Well, first thing I would say that it's a shame that it had to be the last time I was ever able to attend to a single convention, at least for a while, because you get the idea. But anyways, when I went to MAGFest this year, as usual, I did indeed have a lot of fun. Now, I'm not sure if I told all of you this before, but there would indeed be this pizza place that exists nearby that I always love going out to when I'm in Maryland for MAGFest. So yeah, I definitely love that pizza place to death, even if it may not be New York. But still, if you really like the authentic taste of New York pizza, well, you definitely may want to try out that pizza place that exists nearby. You know. At least it still tastes like New York pizza, well, despite the fact that it may be said in Maryland, you know? Believe me when I say this, I know a lot of people very well, and I know when I talk to a lot of people, including family members, friends, and teachers, on what they say is the best New York pizza. I mean the best pizza in general. I meant to say, yeah, definitely New York. And I can see where everyone is going with that. So you guys all can clearly see why one time back when I was still a fan of Mike Mixtape, I did once ask him what he would have thought about New York pizza. Believe me when I say this, I know Mike Janick very well, and I know how much he loves pizza, just as much as I do. And yeah, to anyone wondering what's been happening between Mixtape, well, to keep this long story short, let's just say, considering what he's put me through in life, dating all the way back, just in time for when I rightfully got to move on with my life while doing independent living, let's just say, I'm done with it. Well, to keep this long story short, let's just say he was being such a crook with me. Let's just say Mike Mixtape, well, if I can be honest on why I quit supporting him, well, let's just say he lied about a couple of things. Even defended a bunch of people for enabling Azuchi Guardian, as well as likewise, somehow has had his moments here and there where he may act like Azuchi Guardian some god when he felt like it, you know? Even though it may be on a negligent level from my understanding, or should I say borderline negligent, because I'd say borderline negligent because on one hand, you have him to say that he may not mean to be like him, but unfortunately, whether he meant so or not, he did. There's people like Caleb Corker, on the other hand, he would do it out of recklessness, and likewise Tim Johnson. But yeah, anyways, yeah. Back on to my thoughts on MAGFest. Yeah. And I know what all of you are going to be thinking here. What games did I play this year? Okay, then. Well, I will honestly say this, that, I definitely have played some Wolfenstein 3D, played a bit of Doom, and, played some Mario Tennis, um, played, some Super Smash Brothers, so played some Smash, and, also, and, yeah. There have been some, yes, played some Mario Party, and, yeah. I forgot what other games I played, but I guess too many to count. However, I will honestly say this, that when I went to MAGFest this year, I did enjoy some candy as usual, and at the same time, as usual, I did bump into this local music organization. This one, I did promise them that I would arrange some music. Which, in case if you're wondering, whatever it is, I feel like arranging this time. Well, for right now, I'm currently arranging a Mario medley for this woodwind quintet, in which this person who my grandmother and my step grandfather used to play with in the past would be in. However, I would consider arranging it. I would consider letting someone from the entire Gamers Center Orchestra to play whenever possible. So when it comes to traveling outside of New York, let's just say it's been decided that I would take a break for right now. Especially what can happen when things go horribly wrong when I feel like doing so. Especially when I get to Maryland, which I'm not going to do just yet. Well, to keep this long story short, when traveling, say, from New York to another state or vice versa, that's where I have to quarantine for 42 days. And that would not be good for me. So, yeah. Speaking about meeting up with different people, I did try to meet up with the folks at BronyCon, but for whatever reason, I sadly didn't. Well, to keep this long story short, let's just say I felt like having a discussion with them regarding this indie animator who exists, simply known as Toucan LDM. Well, I will honestly say this: that's something I will admit I did mention to the folks at BronyCon in the past would be my experience with my opponent regarding how much I always find it sexually offensive when I hear people say such things as all bronies are gay. Well, I know I believe I may have said this before, but I will say this again. And when being honest about my reaction to such things, well, I will admit, back when I was still in high school, I guess you could say, well, I will admit I used to think that this saying is funny and true. Well, when being honest on how I may be harsh on the idea of My Little Pony representation in Epic Gods thing, I bet all of you may be surprised from that apparently people like Azuchi Guardian, Ethan Brown, so hard not the only ones that made me feel like doing so, but also long before I not only went to school with Chris, but also long before I officially met Azuchi Guardian at my local pony trade. There was not one, but two internet reviewers in whom we at Macedo Productions as a whole might feel idolized, being Animat and Jaime who, let's just say, felt like sharing made their own videos sharing their own set of personal experiences regarding My Little Pony. Like, for example, Animat, who once made this video to expand to see for himself on whether or not he's a brony, which turns out he wasn't, which I will honestly say that, when regarding the term brony, I first learned that through back when Anima made such a video. I guess you could say that Anima and his BF just somehow rubbed me the wrong way when it comes to the term brony. And the same can also be said regarding Jaime when he made this video trying to express to himself to the world that he's not a brony. So I guess all of you can obviously say for a fact that, whether y'all believe it or not, it's really both Animan and Haimitude who somehow not only got me, who are not the people, are not the evil McEvilsons who somehow got me closed-minded about getting to my opponent, including having to support the idea of taking out LDM's idea for crossover projects of My Little Pony popping up in crossovers, but also at the same time that but also back when Animat and Jaime 2 did their own set of videos regarding their feelings, where they could share their honest feelings about My Little Pony. That's how I will admit I did originally feel like it's funny that all bronies are. That's what got me, when during that time when Animat made that video to see on whether or not he's a brony, and that time when Hamitu did that one video where Jaime Tude did that one video all those years ago expressing that he's not a brony. I guess you can say it's pretty much of how I personally got close. Mine about being a brony in the first place at the time, up to the point that I just feel, I will admit, I used to admit, I used to think it's funny that all bronies are gay. However, after getting to know my fan base much better, that there somehow had to be people out there who are indeed who like to call major to LDM enablers, up to the point that, it would most likely be factors of how my friend Dante, for whatever reason, won't let any My Little Pony characters get out of Epic Battles anytime soon. That's pretty much of how I then realize how sexually offensive that saying is. And especially when it comes out of Zuzu Guardian, oh boy, oh dear God, sexually offensive, Because, let's be honest here, not all bronies are gay, for there could have been those like myself, and Huey Tunmore as examples, who may be more sexy in love with women, more so than they can be with men. And let's not also forget there can be people like Seth Elton, Morgan Legend, Jaime as examples, who do indeed likely view me as homophobic, as well as I'm sure when looking to have Morgan Hunter would likely respond if they ever found out what Azuchi Guardian once said about Huey Tunmore in one video he did years ago, addressing when he once said that he's gay. God knows, Morgan and Jaime Tude could have possibly been there to point out that Huey Tunmore is homophobic. Considering what they think about me, especially in the case of Morgan, oh boy, that's where I can tell Morgan Ledger, as well as Jaime Tude, clearly hate all straights, Clearly hate a lot of people who are straight. Or it can be just me, but yeah. However, speaking about meeting up with famous YouTube celebrities, there are some, I will honestly say, I personally got to meet up. Like, for example, there be this one internet reviewer who exists, who I will honestly say, whom, as some of you may know, used to be my boss, simply known as Rowdy C. For those who don't know, definitely bumped into the creator and host of TV Trash himself, Chris Lee Moore, aka Rowdy C. And I told him, how much I'm glad to see him not let Azuchi Guardian put him down. Well, if you guys don't know what I'm talking about here, let's keep this long story short. Let's just say Azuchi Guardian, from my understanding, clearly has this habit of being such a big baby when I get to move on from him, up to the point that, that's where you can find there would be those bigger and better people who I rightfully hire for my work on casualties bearRimshot, where he would send, that way he would wrongfully troll, let alone send death threats whenever he feels like it. And one of those people who would go through that would include Rowdy C. And to answer Zuchi Guardian's question on what's with of all those death threats he made to Rowdy C that I would continuously point out when I feel like it, let's just say, as pointed out before, when getting to know Zuchi on a personal level, he always has this habit of being such a big baby about when people he worked with in the past like myself get to rightfully move on from him. Which can also explain the same exact reason why I had to deal with myself, as well as a couple of friends, as well as some people I rightfully idolize, like Morgan Ledger, Jaime Toon, like Mixtape, Mr. Coden, and as examples, would all have to go through with this person that, I both personally know, named, well, if I can be honest with you. Yeah, well, let's just say it's a long story. To keep this long story short, let's just say when getting to know Yura on a personal level, if you're somebody who has ever worked with me in general, either on casualties of bearRimshot, or an epic battle, or did any form of work in epic battles, or worked on Team Hams, whether it be as an editor, or as a voice actor, whatever, or as an animator, or if, say, you're someone who happens to be a fan of either casualties bearRimshot, epic battles, or the entire Team Hams meeting. So, especially when you have either me or Zuchi Guardian work on our own set of Team Hams dubs. Trust me when I say this, you're gonna hate on Yura Wheatley for what he put me through the whole entire rest entire life. In fact, I will honestly say this: Yura Wheatley, who I will honestly say, he's definitely somebody who I can easily say he's just nothing more than just bad news. To all Macedo Productions, In fact, Yura Wheatley, who I will honestly say, he's definitely somebody who I can easily compare to Chris Chan, But yeah. However, when I went to MAGFest this year, I did meet up with another YouTube celebrity this time, someone by the name of Category. So, by the way, there was something I forgot to do the last time I did a Comic-Con vlog. Oops. If you guys really want to see pictures of the time when I personally got to meet Tom Kenny, I'd be happy to show that now. Here we go. Voila. See? That's me. Correct. Language. See, that's me in a Marvel t-shirt, me on the right, with Tom Kenny. I'm not sure if I mentioned this before in my last Comic-Con vlog, but if you're ever wondering why he sadly didn't reprise his role as Rabbit in Christopher Robin, Disney didn't feel like casting, which is a total shame because, it's great that Disney managed to bring back Jim Cummings to reprise his role as both Tigger and Pooh and Christopher Robin. And, I really liked the different casting choices that were made. I just feel like the different casting choices that were made in the 2011 The Pooh movie felt perfect. At least they brought in Travis Osum. Imagine if you think that the 2011 The Pooh movie, maybe the first time that Travis O's would ever do the voice of Pickle. Perhaps you have no idea he did so back when Disney brought Kingdom Hearts 2 to the States, Just in time when John Fiedler, the original voice of Piglet, sadly passed away in 2005, alongside with Paul Winchell, aka the original voice of Tigger, also sad, but yeah. And to anyone who wants to picture me as Catagris, I'd be happy to show them now. See, that's me doing my handshake with Catagris. And that's me with Catagris again. That's me talking plain. Let's snap it. Okay. Then that's another picture I took with categories. And that's another picture I took with categories. And yeah, as you guys can often tell when looking at the different pictures with me and categories, yeah, he's definitely a nice guy, nice fellow I talk to, I will honestly say, you know? Yeah, I did ask him some questions whenever I can, I will honestly admit. And at the same time, I also, and at the same time, yes, my loyal viewers and trolls, I did indeed go all anime. I did ask him, I did talk to him about anime, I will honestly admit. Yeah, I just can't help but do whatever it is I'm passionate about, you know? Really love that guy, you know? He's dead. I can go on all day on how much he's changed my life for the better. And yeah, if you think that I can never be there to support anime in any way, shape, or form, not even being able to meet him, I mean, conventions go well. All the guys should have seen what happened when I'm in film class and likewise just when social group be part of it in general called Spark. That means you, Caleb Corger, and likewise you, Harry Henry. Well, it's kind of a long story, but yeah, when getting to know what it is, well, you get the idea. But yeah, I can go on all day how much I love anime. However, I will honestly say this, that I did ask Catacris to see whether or not he's ever watched anime, but for that reason, he sadly didn't. I not told him how much I loved his work, but also, yes, I did also even get to tell him how much I loved it when he does any work on Digital Gaming and its sister shows, if you know what I mean. Funny enough, yes, there have been other sources I will that I would be using for research for my own set of education projects than just anything anime does, like Digital Gaming, for example. In fact, if you're somebody who wishes that I can expand my knowledge from what you guys may have seen in my public apology, well, not only have I matured, if you don't believe me, wait till you see me make more editorials of casual reviews BearRimshot, and when I write my history book, that's where you can see that for yourself. But also at the same time, coming soon on casual reviews of bearRimshot for April Fools, I am gonna make some 107 facts videos, to help expand your knowledge from whatever it is, we all got to learn from anime, ranging from his work on animation look back, all the way to his work in the Epic Mickey Files, and all the way to his own set of editorials, you know? It's meaning that, yeah, when I get to make my own set of 107 facts videos, that's where you can also obviously be there to, learn some interesting, where you can be there to learn of how your favorite animated movies, animated TV shows, or just animated works in general can be being brought through the rest of the entire world, especially when you get to find out your favorite Japanese voice actors for some of your favorite Disney and Warner Brothers, Disney and Looney Tunes characters, for example, as well as likewise, yeah, I could even be there to correct whatever mistakes anime has made in any of its own educational videos. Yeah, for whatever reason, I will admit, even I myself, even I, somebody who always loved watching these videos, can be guilty of pointing out some mistakes he made when I feel it's the right time. Like, for example, not only can I point out that Animat is guilty of continuously mispronouncing my last name, which, for those who want the correct pronunciation of my last name, it's Macedo. No, people, I'm not Italian. I'm Brazilian. This can explain why we're getting to know my dad. On a personal level, that's where we can kind of see that he'd be more of a coffee person, more so than he's a tea person. same time, he'd be more of a garlic person more so than he is an onion person, alongside with a certain health issue he may have, as well as likewise, he would always put a lot of salt on his food, you know. Whether you like it or not about him, yes, that's how my dad always been in a nutshell. But yeah. But also, I did witness some mistakes he made in Animation Look Back. Even when he made the latest Animation Look Back episode, I can definitely point out certain mistakes he made when I feel like it, like when bringing up both of the two currently existing sequels, two of the currently existing theatrically released sequels to Walt Disney Animation Studios produced movies that Disney Studios worked on, being Return to Neverland. We'll talk about Peter Pan and The Jungle Book 2 while talking about The Jungle Book. But that'll all be another story for another day. However, I can say this right now that when regarding categories, well, there would be this Did You Know Food episode he did talking about bacon, which I liked. I will honestly say this. That would most certainly be one out of two Did You Know Food episodes that helped me get inspired to make some of my own set of recipes inspired by pop culture, I guess you could obviously say. But let's just say, there be not one, but two characters appeared as a complete epic battles, whose set of recipes would be inspired by something I've learned from the Did You Know Food bacon episodes. In this case, the first one would be regarding someone I personally knew who I went to school with named Sophia Bavaro. Now, for those who may find that name familiar, you may most likely remember her either from doing work with music with her in the past, or went to school in artsy, or if you're somebody who's lucky to see epic battles, that's where you may most likely remember her. And then being one of those artists who's been given the most amount of attention, right up there with Bionic Gallo, another artist. But anyways, now when deciding not to anyone throughout the whole epic battles can be wondering what I would do for Sophia Bavaro, well, definitely would consider making a pizza, for she is Italian. Not only that, but also, at the same time, considering that she can be guilty of making a name of herself as a musician by having to participate in such classes, such things like the Outcast, Wind Ensemble, even having to luckily made it for both all county areas. Also, from what I've witnessed, well, considering this one fact I learned from categories regarding bacon, that there would indeed be a lot of musicians who exist, who do indeed love to eat bacon. That's sort of inevitable that I would make some sort of bacon recipe inspired by her, you know? Though when deciding what to do with all the Legend of Zelda, all the Zelda characters, which include Link, Zelda, and Ganondorf, might as well do something with bacon, you know? And as these are all indeed Nintendo created characters, that's where all we can expect me to make chopped cheese sandwiches inspired by them. With regard to the character of Link, alongside Mario, Peach, Bowser, Kirby, Pikachu, and Banjo-Kazooie, I pretty much be making nothing but recipes that would make Epic Battles at its own typical, which can not include chopped cheeses, but also pizzas, bagel sandwiches, lettuce wraps with pickles and coleslaw on the side, as well as dessert platters. And yeah, I'm sure the entire Epic Battles community would be butthurt to hear that I didn't even feel like bother bringing up such characters like Sonic, Mega Man, or Bomberman. Well, here's the thing regarding that. Well, regarding Sonic, you do realize that he did start out as through one video game whom Mike Hayes would once regard as a, what he once was with Mario. It's like what the Rolling Stones once been with the Beatles, or should I also say how Bugs Bunny can be with Mickey Mouse, where, to keep the long story short, Sonic did start out as a rival to Mario. Not only that, but also, plus, let's not also forget there'd be plenty of games out the world of Sonic where they didn't get a single release on Nintendo platform. In fact, one Sonic game that somehow never saw an official release on a single Nintendo platform would include one called Sonic 06. Don't know if you know what I'm talking about, but if you have no idea what I'm talking about, let's just say it's that bad, you know? Even my good friend Nicholas Centra, aka Banana Gamer 105, can tell you that Sonic 06, it's that bad, you know? And let's not also forget that Sonic was indeed present in the world, was indeed present in Ralph Breaks the Internet, and not any Nintendo characters like Mario or Bowser as examples, you know? And let's not also forget that the company that made the Sonic movie, the one with Jim Carrey playing Dr. Eggman, if you know what I'm talking about here, that would be released under Paramount, where Universal, on the other hand, currently owns both the film and theme park rights to Mario, as well as most Nintendo IPs in general, if you know what I mean, you know? And when regarding Mega Man and Bomberman, they both have had their own set of games that somehow never saw official release on a single Nintendo platform, like with Sonic. Let's not also forget that regarding Bomberman, well, if you ever get to have your once-in-a-lifetime chance playing Super Smash Bros. Ultimate for yourself, that's where you can see that both. You can see the likes of Sonic, Mega Man, and Banjo-Kazooie all got to appear as playable characters in Smash. But not Bomberman. Well, when regarding the reality of how Bomberman sadly did not get to appear as a playable character in Smash, let's all be thankful that Nintendo's not the winner. At least he's no Waluigi. If anything, well, let's just say, well, as of right now, well, let's just say he originally did start up being created by Hudson Soft. Now he's owned by Konami, who somehow will be the ones who somehow had to turn down Bomberman appearing as a playable character in Smash, you know? I'm sure all of us are going to be baffled to see that Konami didn't even feel like letting Nintendo use Bomberman, and yet they were nice enough to let Nintendo get away to include such characters like Snake and Simon Belmont, you know? You know, something I would get from the full source gaming, especially when it comes from both Nintendix and Push Dustin regarding the reality on why Snake is not in Smash 4. Well, apparently, Konami aren't the ones to blame, if anything. For whatever reason, one way or another. Sakurai on his behalf, well, as Nintendix said it best, he just didn't ask. That's how, fortunately for Sakurai on his behalf, he did manage to bring back Snake for Smash Ultimate when he felt like it, you know? But, yeah. Then, of course, if what I'm hearing, if that did ever become a reality, if that ever did become a reality, well, I did receive a suggestion, and I know how Dante once did with Blue's Clues representation. Well, let's just say I did receive a suggestion of how the idea of having Captain Brainstorm appear as a group leader, which I'd be skeptical about considering what people think about just considering of what people think about Bill Cosby now. But create a little Bill, but considering of how well what Dante did with the idea of Blue's Clues characters popping up in epic battles, and likewise considering that God who knows there could have been people out there who exist who may somehow have nostalgic memories watching Little Bill as much as, say, Blue's Clues, as well as Sesame Street, My Little Pony, Thomas the Tank Engine, as well as Thomas the Tank Engine, and Lazy Town. That's would be inevitable that I wouldn't think about how to handle my time making a recipe. By Captain Brainstorm. Well, that is if you're a group leader, might as well make nothing more than just a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Which when you guys all hear me say that I would make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich inspired by Captain Brainstorm, I mean, we're talking like the kind that Elvis Presley always loved to. Even categorists can tell you that for a fact. Regarding Elvis Presley. But it'll all be done with a twist, However, I will honestly say this, that the bacon episode wouldn't be the only food episode that helps spark me ideas on making my own set of recipes inspired by pop culture. Also, there would also be this episode that I believe if memory serves correct, I believe it was Peanut Butter Gamer who posted this one. It's based. Well, let's just say the gaming creative team once did a food episode looking at this one famous peanut butter candy that exists called Reese's Pieces. And one interesting fact I did get to learn from when watching that particular episode would include the fact that what made Reese's Pieces still remain in business up to the point that I can roughly buy a bag of Reese's Pieces myself if I wanted to would all be thanks to the success of this one classic movie this one magnum opus that Steven Spielberg once gave us that we all know and love, simply known as E.T. Well, looks like, when thinking about different recipes based on the different characters from the animated works of Steven Spielberg, who appeared as a group leader, which include Yakko, Wacko, Dot, and Warren T. Rat, that I have to include Reese's Pieces as part of some sort of dessert recipe in honor of, as a reference to Steven Spielberg, who helped produce An American Tail, as well as created Animaniacs. And when it comes to think about ideas for recipes I want to make based on characters, like it's different chicken stir fries, chicken corn balloons for all the Song of the South characters in Tiana, as well as likewise pizzas based on Sophie von Brianna Gell and Joseph Gell, as well as crab sandwiches based on all my kids' which include Jackie, Tommy, and Helena, as well as likewise poutines inspired by Anna and Mr. Code, and something to do with lobster from Morgan Ledger, as well as some Korean dishes also for not just Morgan Ledger, but also Jaime too as well as likewise make a veggie noodle bowl paired with a trash island chick also from Morgan Ledger, and stuff like that, as well as create a salad inspired by my mom paired with a cup of coffee, as well as make nodulum to a broccoli stir fry inspired by Zucchini Garden, but also a sandwich inspired by Zucchini Garden paired with a glass of milk, which can be enjoyed either regular or chocolate. And something to do with Nutella for my brother Evan. Well, as well as the Smith Island cake paired with a sweet roll also for all my cousins. Well, You're all gonna have to get used to the fact that I just felt like doing that kind of stuff to do as nothing more than just to show flat out respect, if you know what I mean. And yeah. You see why I would consider make a veggie noodle bowl paired with a trash island shake is by Morgan Ledger. Well, if you ever hear Morgan mention at least once how much he loves Alamo Dogs, and you know how much I love the Alamo Drafthouse, you all get the idea. Well, to keep this long story short, despite having to be guilty of treating animation as if it would be some sort of kid's genre, as well as having to enable Ethan Brown and Mr. Arden Moore for the Etsy Guardian, he did say he enjoyed Alamo Dogs. In fact, one of those movies I would always recommend people to watch at the Alamo Drafthouse, and you know it would be inevitable that I would consider hosting that for a Drafthouse Recommends Battle of the Good Feast right up there with movies like The Beast, The Jungle Book, The Lion King, Frozen, The Simpsons movie, something to do with The Simpsons, something to do with SpongeBob, something to do with Spider-Man, Avengers Endgame, Avengers Infinity War, Captain America Civil War, Finding Dory, The Incredibles 2, and Willy Wonka the Chocolate Factory and Land Before Time. Well, well, when being honest on my favorite memory, seeing Out of Dogs, let's just say when regarding Out of Dogs in particular, it definitely has what I will honestly say one of my favorites, especially menus at the Alamo Drafthouse I've ever dished out. There's some of my favorite items, including the veggie noodle bowl and the trash island shake, which I loved. You know, there was this meat dish that exists, but I just feel like a veggie noodle bowl, and if I were to make my own spin of any Alamo Drafthouse, especially menu items inspired by Morgan Ledger, veggie noodle bowl and trash island shake will do. You know, both paired into one. But they will all be done with a twist, I will honestly say. As for what's with the fact that I would consider including lobster as part of the entire recipe for Morgan Ledger, well, to keep this long story short, you do realize that Morgan Ledger lives in Massachusetts, right? Well, when I go to Massachusetts in general, usually for family matters, on my behalf, I will honestly say, which would also be the same reason why my friend Nicholas Cedric had been out of 105 would also go to Massachusetts for, well, always eat a lot of lobster, especially at the very least just once a year. However, due to the coronavirus pandemic being such a big deal around the world, that's where I had no choice but to remain in New York all weekend this week, which is really sad for me to say because, you know, yesterday, as I'm currently recording this, would pretty much usually be that time of the year where usually I would go all the way up to Massachusetts to meet up with some family members, you know, for this clam bake, you know, where not only do I get to eat some lobster, but also some steak, some clams, some delicious clam chowder, yeah, even some desserts as well as some burgers and hot dogs. In fact, I will honestly say this, that funny story regarding when I go to the clam bake, sorry for going off topic, but either way it's true, but anyways, some cousins did like when I somehow, made this sandwich where you could, well, now imagine you somebody who's on a gluten-free diet or needs to, or happens to carry some sort of need to cut back some carbs, or even you must be on an Atkins diet either way. Well, if say you're on a gluten-free diet, or say you're on an Atkins diet, you could, well, use one hamburger patty to wrap around a hot dog to treat it like what you could say is your Atkins dog, if you know what I mean, you know? As opposed to a bun, you know? Could have done that if you wanted to. Just saying. Not the first time I've done so anyway, not the only time. I've done that a lot in the past, especially back during the days when I was still on a gluten free dairy free diet, I will honestly say. For those who don't know, yeah, once upon a time back when I was still a kid, I was on a gluten free dairy free diet until some creative mistreatment would occur in my life that caused me to quit doing so. Long story now, but yeah. And, and, yeah. And yes, and yeah, when regarding that time when I bumped into Rowdy C, I will honestly say, there was one thing I forgot to mention while I get to see him at MAGFest this year. But either way, I did ask him on Facebook privately regarding all of this, regarding whether or not, he, still on good terms with Hymiitude, but from my understanding, he broke up with Hymiitude for some reason, you know? I don't know why Free never said, but either way, I just knew how to tell him what a major heterophobia turned out to be. I mean, don't get me wrong, I not only still enjoy watching Morgan's videos when I feel like it. In fact, I did enjoy watching the Dark Crystal episode, and if you ask me how I would respond to when Morgan did his review on Thomas the Magic Railroad, all I can honestly say is he did the best he can, you know? But also, I still enjoy watching Hymiitude's videos as well, you know? For I will honestly say this, I still sometimes enjoy listening to his music. In fact, when doing some projects for the Halloween and Christmas seasons, there wouldn't be some songs he did in the past that I would significantly not come back to. For example, during the entire Halloween season, especially when you get to me make some Halloween episodes for casual reviews, bearRimshot's, and likewise, in the end credits when I get to make my Steamed Ham's Disney Villains dub, which I was supposed to release back in just in time, which I do hope to release just in time for not just the entire Halloween season in 2022, but also the 20th anniversary of the Villains. This song you're about to hear right now, whether y'all like it or not, regardless of what you all think about Hymiitude now, it also means you, Nicholas Hunter, if you're watching this, there will be no denying that this particular song you'll have to hear right now, you will not only hear me play for when I get to do some Halloween episodes of Casual Rimshot, but also, likewise, any Disney Villains parody videos I would make, where we need voice actors like my Steamed Ham's Villains dub, and likewise, when I make, likewise in the Halloween game based on the Battle Ghost game based on Halloween and the digital board game. And yeah, that entire Halloween song you just listened to right now, regardless of what you all think about Hymentude right now, and you, Nicholas Centra, there is no denying for a fact that you will hear that a lot when you do work on a lot of Halloween projects, including some episodes of Casualty's bearRimshot, as well as likewise in my in my in my Steamed Hams as a Villain's dub. And besides, when regarding that Haunted Mansion cover you guys just listen to right now, I really love it a lot, you know. Definitely always gets me into the spirit of Halloween, you know. But that's just me, you know. Now, of course, when I make Battle of the Groups into a digital board game, of course, there'll be plenty of other Halloween songs you guys can expect me to include just while playing the Halloween game, the digital board game. I just feel like the Haunted Mansion cover that Hamilton did years ago. I just feel like he did a great job with what he did for the Haunted Mansion. You know, Walt Disney himself would be dancing in his grave when it comes to what Hamilton has done for the Haunted Mansion. However, regarding this one Christmas song that you guys will not only get to hear when I get to make some Christmas episodes of Casualty's bearRimshot, but also likewise be among one of those Christmas songs for that you'll likely get to while playing the Battle of the Groups Christmas game and the digital board game version of Battle of the Groups. You're about to hear this right now, and it's a song that he did, which you may recall hearing it in such projects like in Animax Reviews on Christmas, and in the Vaulting Christmas Carol, and in South Jersey Sam's Top 13 Christmas Songs, but here we go. Okay. Oops. Okay. Well, from what you guys just heard just now, that Christmas song you guys just heard me play, well, like what will happen when I'm like what I would do for Jaime 2's Haunted Mansion cover for want to do some Halloween projects for Put a Little Love into Christmas. I would consider playing in some Christmas projects and Christmas episodes of the Casual Reviews bearRimshot's. That's because, well, Put a Little Love into Christmas, I will honestly say, like with the Haunted Mansion cover, I love listening to. And when being honest, how it can be when I feel like listening to Put a Little Love into Christmas in particular, it really does help me get into the Christmas season, I will honestly say. So yeah, when it comes to Jaime, say what you want about him, even if you're someone who may not like what he put me through when you not only have him commit the crime of doing some unprofessional crap on the internet, like telling people to block me just because of this one mistake I admittingly made, but also, but also when you had him take down at least not one, but 2 parts of Casual Reviews bearRimshot was a public apology where I can be guilty of using clips from Jaime 2's videos whenever I feel like it. That still wouldn't stop me from continuing to use clips or music of his that he might have made of his own. I would consider using whenever I feel like it. Like, for example, when I get up to making my first ever Halloween episode, which would have been a countdown, counting down the greatest Disney villains not from Walt Disney Studios. Do keep in mind that it wouldn't be the first time I would ever consider using music from Jaime 2's videos, for I not only get to do so in my esteemed Ham's Disney Villains dub, which I was supposed to be using stuff in the Halloween season just to celebrate commemorate the 20th anniversary of Mickey Sasso Villains, but also at the same time, I did indeed once use some of his music, back when I made my Steve Ham's Donald Duck dub, when in the end credits, that's where you can hear, his own cover of the DuckTales theme song, which I will admit I not liked, but did have fond memories participating in. Though it does make me wonder whether or not is it just me, or is just Morgan just looking to do childish malicious crap on me in the end of the music video. But yeah, hopefully it's like with what he did on Agent Shade. Well, for those who don't know what I'm talking about here, well, Morgan once created this radio drama for to drive music to do called Agent Shade, where he talks of certain jokes that on one hand he does sound like he'd be guilty of enabling his guardian, but in reality he just do it out of negligence. I say that because, having to learn where Morgan had to toss out certain jokes from, it wasn't from his guardian. If anything, it was more of from a copy and paste from this cartoon that exists called Count Duckula, which I will honestly say that I'm still having a hard time finding where Count Duckula which Count Duckula episodes did Morgan draw inspirations from the potato jokes. If I can get if somebody out there can kindly please send me a source on, if I can rightfully get a source on which episodes of Count Duckula did Morgan draw the inspirations for the potato jokes from, that would be great. Can be done either publicly or privately, but still would want to know where Morgan wherein Count Duckula did Morgan do copy and paste from Count Duckula, And yeah, I really want to believe what Michael Kimpton and KVG Roger said, but unfortunately, Morgan Ledger not only continues to enable Zuccotti when he feels like it, but also whenever he feels like it, he continues to go anti-Teddy when he feels like it by spreading heterophobia on me, as well as discriminating me for being a New Yorker, as well as discriminating for being a left-handed, discriminating for the love of playing video games, as well as committing the crime of Nazism, Also sad to say, but yeah. And when I say that Morgan Ledger committed the crime of Nazism, I mean for when you hear him say that Zuccotti doesn't exist, that's where Morgan Ledger did commit the crime of going all anti-Animat, or should I say, book burning, which I really hate, So I can see why I not only call Morgan an anti-Animat for that, but also a Nazi as well. But yeah. But yeah. And before I can go close off this video on a happy note, I would like to do a bit of a recap of something I talked about last time I made a MAGFest video. Anyways, I'm sure all of you may remember when I made my last MAGFest vlog where I showcased something I would always get a lot of messages about from friends and fans regarding that time when I not only did Donald Anima fanboy, but also called Star Wars the Force and about to be overrated, which I will honestly say this. That, as proud as I am to see myself get a bunch of people into the Priest of Animation, not the first, nor the last time that such events occur. And regarding that time when I called Star Wars the Force of Evil to be overrated, out of all the different MAGFest memories I've had from my whole entire life attending to MAGFest in general, definitely a major regret, and here's why. Now, if you're expecting us at Macedo Productions as a whole to make at least one epic battle sequel where no side of My Little Pony representation can ever be a thing, well, whether you all like it or not, that is not happening anytime soon. So please do not call me gay for that, otherwise I will continuously call you out that as a sex offender. That means you as Uchigarden. But yeah. You see why I continue to call out as Uchigarden as a sex offender up to the point that Uchigarden be able to think I would accuse him of committing the crime of rape, which in reality, even though, sure, you can say that he'd be innocent from committing the crime of rape, either way, he still did do some sexual activities in a way, which in this case, he would call out a lot of people to be gay, which, let's be honest here, a lot of people who we call out to be gay are not gay, They're just nothing more than just right-wings, including myself. And the fact that for whatever reason, whether you all like it or not, that I may continue using My Little Pony catches for epic battles up to the point that that they'll be playable in Battle of the Groups, including Pinkie Pie, still doesn't change my mind from pointing out for a fact that I'm still straight. For I not only have a girlfriend to prove that I'm straight in my life, but also, at the same time, I have been discriminated for being straight in the past. In fact, one individual I first met on the internet named Steph Felton, guilty of discriminating me for being straight, Let's not also forget that but some other folks on the internet, like Morgan Ledger, for example, who would have been guilty of committing the crime of going all heterophobic on me when they feel like it. Even Jaime too thinks it's a great idea for people like Morgan. Even Jaime too, from my understanding, supports heterophobia. Which could explain, well, I will honestly say this, that what I tried saying before that for what I think about both Hamilton and Morgan Ledger right now, at best, the art separates from the artist. I say that because, at least unlike Azuchi Guardian, Hamilton and Morgan know to be professional when they get to do the things they love to do for fun, like if how good Uncle James Wolf would do it, if you know what I mean, and likewise animal, Even though it still doesn't change my mind from pointing out for a fact that Morgan and Hamilton are guilty of recklessly do bad things to me when they feel like it, especially with the case of Morgan. But yeah, anyway, so yeah, when it comes to that time when I called Sovereign Force of Evil to be overrated after learning certain realities regarding what would happen to my little pun representation in epic battles, up to the point that that there'd be people like the Guardian who'd most certainly be in for a mockery for that one. I actually regret saying, I will admit. So of course it wouldn't be the only mistake I neglectfully made. Well, the only regret I admittingly have while being a MAGFest. So of course I know not everybody would want me to say this, but I sadly never got to have my once-in-a-lifetime chance meeting Juwario there. Now, I know people are going to tell me what a major rapist he is or sex or stuff along those lines, but here's the thing. Despite this one so-called mistake he once made while he was at MAGFest that led up to his unfortunate death, he still did bigger and better things in his life either way. He still made some entertaining videos. Okay, when it comes to watching cooking videos, there have been others I've been watching, like Binging with Bad Bitch and Feast of Fiction, both of which I would indeed consider watching as some out of many sources I would happily use to think of unique ideas I want to make instead. Maybe some recipes I'll make of my own inspired by pop culture, all done with a twist. But Wario, I'm not gonna act like for what he once did at MAGFest was right, but still, he had his golden moments. Oh, if you think that we have to say the processor also make an epic battle sequel where no side of Wario appears to at least have him killed off, well, also not happening anytime soon. And yeah, I just knew not everyone is gonna like to hear what happened not to Wario, but also you can tell someone not gonna like to hear what happened to the entire Friends community. Well, I will honestly say this, that for what has yet to happen to the entire Friends community, including people like Animat, Toonmore, Morgan Legend, Hyman as examples, I can understand why my friend Dante, for whatever reason, no matter how many times he made protests and this, you, Harry Henry, if you're watching this, Dante will never let go anytime soon. For let's be honest, it's pretty much the same exact reason why there'll be so many other characters Dante will never let go, also for epic battles anytime soon, To keep the long story short, let's just say there are still people out there who enjoy watching people like Mr. Code, people like Animat, people like Toonmore, people like Morgan Ledger, people like Hymantude, even people like some jerk with the camera, as well as people like Sonic Guru, as well as people out there who may have nostalgic memories watching such critics like VG Retro and South Jersey Sam as well, So yeah, as you can tell, how I can be regarding time to the Friends community in epic battles, as much as I know you should be aware, what's been happening with the majority of them. Now, I actually can be understanding on my behalf on why Dante will never let go of these likeness and Mr. Code or anyone who worked with him anytime soon, both past and present, including Animat, and yeah, even including Morgan Ledger as well. Also, another magret I also admittingly have, well, in case if you're all wondering whether or not I had any magrets this year, for this year, only 2. Both of which were made behalf of my mom. For usually when I go to conventions, particularly when they're set out of state, usually my mom would get to take me there, However, when your Comic-Con starts up again, I may be able to go there independently. We'll just have to wait and see when that time will come, But yeah. I know you're all going to be thinking, what did my mom do wrong? Let's just say they're all done on nothing more than a flat-out negligent level. The first one would be, of course, at the time when my mom drove me from New York, going all the way to Maryland. Not only did she forget to get my allowance money from my group home manager up to that point in time, but also, to make matters even worse for my health, she forgot my Victoza, which I usually take as part of my entire morning medication, Just before I can ever be able to enjoy eating my breakfast, And I had to wait just after so. And Sunday came along when I got my hands on my Victoza. And those are my thoughts on MAGFest. Sorry for making such another long video, but don't worry. I promise you all that the next vlog I'll be doing, well, when I have the free time to do it, when I have no other vlogs I will do up to that point in time, I will still be doing my public apology video to the entire Discord friends who know what before, and you get the idea. Till then, thanks for watching, and Teddy signing off. Bye.